The first one I'm going to do is, let's imagine that as a user of this site, I need to manage my employees. And specifically, I need to be able to manage my employee contact detail. So I'm going to go over to employees here. I'm going to edit an employee, and let's say that my service area has changed. So that's going to be one of the scenarios, just going in and editing an employee contact. The second thing I want to do here is I want to create a new ticket. So I'm a call center, if you will, and I'm working for a cable company, and a customer calls in and they've got a complaint, right? So I'm going to go through the scenario of creating a new ticket. Right, great. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on today. All right, so if I go into Microsoft Test Manager, and I've already got my plan set up and all that good stuff, so I'm kind of assuming you have at least some familiarity with Microsoft Test Manager. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to do something called exploratory testing. Okay, so within exploratory testing, I've got a couple of work items already. One of them is called create new ticket, and that's kind of the scenario that I walk through. And the story behind that is, as a customer support person, I need to be able to create a support ticket so I can capture the description of the problem and get somebody to the customer's house to fix the problem. Okay? Acceptance criteria is that I'm able to create the ticket, add the description, so on and so forth. All right, I've got a second product backlog item here, and this one is, as an employee, I need to be able to edit my contact information so that I can change my address or phone number. Okay, so those are the two scenarios that I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to go in and let's work the first one. I'm going to go in and I haven't set up a test case or anything. Pretend I haven't. I actually have, as I was staging data and that sort of thing. But assume that this product backlog item has just been set to complete. So as a QA person, I know that I can go in now and I can start taking a look at this feature. Okay, so I'm going to go select this feature. I'm going to say explore the work item. And since I've highlighted the work item, what it's going to do is it's going to capture the things I do. And if I hit save, it's going to associate all this work to that product backlog item. Okay, just also a mention about my environment. I'm running on a pretty humongous laptop, but all of the TFS and the SQL Server and everything I'm testing is all on one machine here. And you add to that live meeting, and things really slow down quite a bit. So don't look at this as indicative of performance if you're in a real production environment. And let's see, I've got a window off my screen and I can't hit the bar. A good time to mention, if I crash or lose audio in live meeting, I'll join just as quickly as I can. I've got a bad feeling. Good. Did I have a full crash? Nope, this is the right one. Okay, so restart that. I'm going to go do my exploratory testing. Okay, looking better. So what comes up is this. Well, it's actually an exploratory testing window. It's kind of similar to the test runner window we'll see in a little bit. Notice it's warning me that both audio and video are recording. So just as I come across new features in 2012, I'm just going to give them a brief mention, but that's certainly not the focus. So the change here is that you can also record audio while you're doing your test. So I'm going to go and start my exploratory testing. Okay. Sure, at the speed there, I'll mention when I'm not in live meeting, this just flies. So, well, while I'm waiting for the screen to come alive, I'm going to just kind of mention a few things about this window. First thing here is if you want to view which product backlog item you're actually seeing, you can click on that. That's a link. It's not obvious. As you're testing, you can be typing your comments along in here, and the action recordings being taken while you're going through your interactions. You can add screen grabs, which is kind of cool. Looks like we're back. So I'm going to start testing the application. So I'm going to launch Internet Explorer. I'm going to be just a little more patient before I kind of abandon trying to show you the exploratory testing. I think it's really cool. Wow. No, I'm hoping if I get it up, it's going to work fine, and then I'm going to, as quickly as possible, get out of exploratory testing, and hopefully the rest will show just fine. My desktop is basically frozen right now, so I can't even X out and abandon yet. You know, it's not even, wow, here it comes. Okay, so I'm going to launch the application. I'm going to navigate to the Fabricom Fiber site. This may actually be a Windows Explorer thing when I crashed, I'm not sure. Okay, so launch Explorer, navigate to my site. By the way, that's a bad practice. When you're doing navigation, type in the full URL. Don't use a shortcut like I did, because if you have multiple QA folks that need to execute this test and they don't have that exact same button on Internet Explorer, the recorded test is going to fail for them. So don't do that. Always just type in the full URL. So I'm going to go in, click on Employees. I'm going to edit the details. And if you remember, what I'm trying to do here is I want to be able to change my name, address, and phone number. Now notice over here that there's no field to put in a phone number, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a comment that phone number is not editable. And then I'm going to take a quick little screen grab here. I'm going to capture just a little rectangle area. That's going to pop in over here, so that's pretty cool. And then what I can actually do from here is I'm going to say, while I'm at it, I'm going to actually create a bug. Okay, so what Test Manager is going to do here is it's basically got a record of all the flailing and clicking around that I've done. And I can go in and I can edit this stuff if I want. I can delete some of these things. It's going to create a new bug here. Add the title, if I know who to assign it to, stage, so on and so forth. It's got my screen grab. And then down here, here's what I think is so cool. Now, just given those recordings, I know that once this bug is fixed, I need to be able to test it again. So I can save the bug, and I'm going to create a test case. So again, what Test Manager did here is it was keeping track of all the actions I was taking within the action recording, and it's going to create a new test case, and it's going to automatically put the actions that I did into the action over here so that I can test, so that I know what so I know what I was doing when I wrote up the bug. So that's going to save you a lot of time from having to type and that sort of thing. Now, just a quick note that the quality of these tips is dependent on the quality of the naming that the developers are doing. So they don't want to be putting button 1, button 2, button 3. Otherwise, the action recordings are going to be somewhat meaningless unless you're intimately aware of what the name of a given button is. So it'd be better to have a button OK and a button cancel or whatever your naming convention is. Okay, so this is my edit phone number test case. I'm going to save that and close that. And I'm going to get out of here. I am. My plan going forward, this is not Microsoft Test Manager. It's probably live meeting or maybe even something in my box. Okay, so the cool thing this has done for me now, if I go over to my plan contents and I look at the, what was I doing, edit the employee information, the test case I just automatically generated is automatically put into this requirements-based suite. So without me doing anything, really all I had to do was go in, identify which requirement I wanted to explore, click the Explore, do some clicking around the screen, and I was able to create a bug and a test case that I could reuse later So I think that's a nice, really slick workflow. So I've really warmed up to that. I was a little skeptical when I first saw the feature, but it's something that I'm really definitely warming up to.